What's up YouTube? I'm Dylan and Cole Sprouse. I'm Cold Spaghetti, and today we have a short video regarding our level 11 Fury Warrior Timewalking Twinks for the Turbulent Timeways event, week 4. Today we will discuss the best weapons for the week as well as some noteworthy tips for these dungeons that will help speed up your runs. As we enter the 4th week of the Turbulent Timeways event, our dungeon pool has changed to the recently revamped classic Timewalking dungeons. As always, I took the time to evaluate each of the two-handed weapons available to us. 2 weapons stand out the most. The first is called Wave Slicer. It drops off of a boss named Hydrospawn in the D.R.I.V.E Warpwood Quarter. This is our heaviest hitting weapon in the dungeon pool, but I'd also like to give a special mention to another weapon as well. Runeblade of Baron Rivendare drops off of the last boss in Stratholme's service entrance side of the dungeon, formerly known as the undead side of Strat for you classic players. The reason I like this weapon is because it has a lot of extra versatility instead of having 2 secondary stats. It also increases your speed by a small margin for those of you who haven't slotted all of your Shadowlands speed gems. Now that we've got weapons out of the way, I'd like to discuss some skips in the dungeons this week. A lot of these classic dungeons have some unique skips to help speed up your runs and even some interesting mass pulls for those of you who like stacking your loot in one spot. Some of these skips and pulls require some practice to get them down perfect, so make sure you are transparent with your groups and tell them what you are doing through the in-game chat or via the ping system. The first skip takes place near the beginning of Strat's living side. Notice as I do a big pull before the first boss, I run inside the gated tunnel just far enough to activate the trap, but because of my increased movement speed, I'm able to run back out the way I came in. This way, by the time I kill the first boss, the trap's RP is already concluded and my group can run straight through with no wait time. The next tips I have are for 2 different mass pulls within the recently revamped classic Deadmines. The first takes place when you first enter the Goblin Foundry. Instead of running down the ramp normally, we will turn to the right and jump off of the platform, landing near the boss. Also, take note that on my way down, I hit one of these goblins on the ramp with a heroic throw, ensuring that they will social aggro everything I ran past. You can use the forge in the center to LOS, or simply AoE everything down in any pattern you like. The next mass pull becomes apparent after defeating Mr. Smite, just before entering the infamous Deadmine ship, the Juggernaut. For this part, it is imperative that you tell your group to stay back. Do not follow you in, and best practice would be to stand behind this post here for LOS. Now, mount up and start heading around the back of the ship's lower level towards Cookie. Continue forward and head around the big cannon and up the ramp. Don't worry about grabbing these guys under here, as they will be social aggroed at the end of the pull. Keep heading up the ramp towards Van Cleef and Captain Greenskin, pulling both before jumping back down to the lower level and returning to your team. Also take note of your health before jumping so you don't do one of these. Whoops. Anyway, stack up on your team and burn it all down. Big skips incoming for the D.R.I.V.E Warpwood Quarter. At the start of the dungeon, run straight ahead and into the conservatory. You're going to backtrack the dungeon from here, pulling at least 3 packs of patrolling trees and whatever extra mobs your group pulls by mistake. This will lead you directly to Hydrospawn and then the Satyr boss who sits at the end of the long hallway. After defeating him, drop down in this location to return to the conservatory. Talk to the big leafy boy to open the next door. Here, you can skip fighting the big trees by jumping over the sidewall directly to the last boss. The last skip takes place in the Capitol Gardens section of D.R.I.V.E, and it is super simple. After defeating the first tree boss, you can run directly to the last boss of the dungeon, skipping a few trash packs and the other 2 bosses listed in the dungeon details. I hope you learned something from these skips and tips, and if not, maybe you could teach me some in the comment section below. Did I miss any of your favorite skips? Let me know. That's all for today's video. Consider dropping a like and a comment if you feel that this guide helped you at all. You can also subscribe if you enjoy my content. As always, I greatly appreciate all of you who leave such kind words in my comments or even helpful tips for me and others to look out for. Also, for those of you who don't know, I'm live every single night at twitch.tv/cold_spaghetti. For those of you who found me through these guides and came to hang out in the live stream, big special thank you. It feels so insanely good to know that I've made something worth your time. Thanks again, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.